What's up, guys? Today I actually am going to be kind of doing a dual review. I just picked up this Garmin Xero crossbow scope. I've had my eye on these for a few years, but I didn't want to spend the $1,800. These are now on sale for $9.99 on pretty much everywhere. So I picked one up, and I'll tell you the reason I picked one up is I was running the burris range-finding crossbow scope on my crossbow. Killed 2 deer with it last year. Great scope. This year I pulled it out to shoot the other day. I put it on this new crossbow I got, and it wouldn't even turn on, nothing. I'm not a huge fan of, I know things happen, and I actually talked to my local dealer. I talked to Jamie at Whitney's Hunting Supply in Granville. You can check them out, but I talked to him, and he said he's actually never had that happen to a burris. So just a freak accident, nothing against burris, but I do run a Garmin on my compound bow. I'm not a huge crossbow hunter. There's a lot of talk about how crossbow hunters aren't real bow hunters, yada, yada, yada. It's fun. I don't care what people say. It's fun to hunt with a crossbow. If it's muzzleloader season, I'd rather take a crossbow than a muzzleloader. That's just my preference. So I'm setting this up for muzzleloader season, late season. I have some bow only spots to hunt. So during rifle season, I won't be able to use a rifle. So if I had a spot where I couldn't, if I wanted to shoot 80 yards at a deer, I would with a crossbow, but I wouldn't with my compound, 60 yards max on a deer at least. So I picked up, anyways, we'll get past all that chat and we'll get to kind of the point of the video. So this is a Ravin R470. I shot it once with, that's it. I put the burris on there, shot it at 20 yards to make sure I was going to hit, and then the scope wouldn't turn on. So off the scope went. Jamie's actually sending it back to burris for me to get fixed. In the meantime, I'm going to try one of these because, like I said, I have the same sight, just the compound version on my Mach 33. So I'm going to get this mounted on here. Check the eye relief, and then I'm going to dive right into the details of the Garmin, and then we're going to go out and shoot the 470. The first shot I took was pretty nice. There was a couple things I did notice that were different right off the bat. The crank system on it is different from what I had before. I had the Ravin 26X, and that had like a ratchet strap type material on the locking mechanism. So you would put the decocker on there, or the cocker I should say, and you take a little tension off, and then you'd push this down, it would lock on, and then you would crank it up. This one's got 2 metal threaded rods in there, so you have to crank it all the way down to the string, and then crank it all the way back to lock it, and then you can shoot. So it does actually take a little bit longer than the one with the cloth, or with the ratchet strap type material. Not much, but it takes a little bit longer. We'll see how that goes. I do have a level. I just buy a level on Amazon and have that mounted right here, just so when I'm shooting I can kind of look at it at the corner of my eye, and that way every time I shoot, when I'm sighting in, and every time I shoot at a deer, I'll just make sure that level's in the middle. This has a built-in level. The burris has a built-in level. But I did notice with the burris, I don't know how precise this one is. The burris, you could be canted slightly and it would still say you're in the center, so it's nice to have something like this that's super sensitive. That will increase your accuracy a lot. So I'm going to get everything ready, get everything mounted up, and we'll go out and shoot. Let's get this thing mounted up. We'll get it unboxed. We'll push the crossbow out here, and we will go through what's in the box. Again, this is the Garmin Xero X1i. So it says it's a laser range-finding crossbow scope. So I haven't really opened this yet, which I thought it was weird there's no tape on it, but so you open it up, you got your manual, you got a little bit of, I would assume, adhesive to stick the sticker on. That was one thing to note with the burris. The burris, actually, I have that remote here somewhere, right here. The burris takes a little Bluetooth wireless remote. The Garmin takes a wired one, so you got to plug that in, route the cable, I'd rather have it wireless, but also you got to run a battery in that, so at least this is connected. Got a couple clips with some 3M tape on the back. We got our 2 lithium, I would assume lithium batteries. Yep. Cable to hook it for updates in the computer, I would imagine. Little Allen head, key, whatever. So we're getting to the good stuff now. It's packed really well. I like that too. That's another thing to note. So Garmin's got the win on this. Comes with scope caps. Burris doesn't. So I actually ordered these. These are for the burris. Some guy makes these on eBay for 30 bucks. So if you need them, hop on eBay. They sell a scope cap for that. But I won't need to do it with this because it comes with them. Build quality is great. Wouldn't expect anything less from Garmin. Heavy. It's pretty heavy. Probably comparable to the burris. And this is a lot shorter. So we'll pop the scope caps off. That's one thing too. Loud and clanky versus these are rubber. Much quieter. So that's another thing to note. Looks like we got a couple Allen keys there. And so that's what that's for. This is going to be lock and unlock, probably for quick mounting. I don't know. That's what the manual's for. So 3.5 magnification. The burris has, I think, 3 to 9 or 1 to 9 or something. So the burris kind of wins in that category, but I'm sure the glass quality on the Garmin is much better. I'm just hoping that this lets in as much light. The Garmin was very good in low light. So those close to end of shooting hours or early morning, I can already tell this is a much bulkier, like a more solid product. It just feels really good in your hand. Aluminum, I would imagine. The whole thing's built out of that. Big range finding button on the top. I'm really looking forward to sending some arrows in this. We got an unlock and a lock button on the side here. I'm going to go through the manual and just check. I don't like to dive into stuff too quickly without knowing what I'm doing. But so we're going to put the scope cap on, keep the dust off, dive into the manual, and then we'll get this mounted on there. But like I said, it feels really good in the hand, and I think it's going to feel really sturdy when it's on the crossbow itself. So let's get to it. Okay, so we got the battery installed. The batteries, I should say, there's a little latch right under here. Of course, it's kind of dark here, but you'll see this little sliding button. You just slide that towards you. It's actually really stiff, which is good. But when you slide that, it pops that off. That's where your batteries are. That's where, of course, my camera's falling down, but that's where the plug is. Hook it to your computer and all that good stuff. So we're going to get it mounted onto the crossbow now. So I'm going to put it right back on there. Make sure you use lithium batteries when you replace them. And when you push it on, that'll lock back over. So I'm going to put the scope cap back on. We're going to get it mounted on here. And then I'm going to check my eye relief, see if I like where it is. It's actually pretty good. So I think I'm going to leave it right where it is. I can pull up and aim at my elk here. Nice and clear optic, that's for sure. I feel like I don't have to push forward. Or move. I think it's perfect right where it is. So, and I can see when I look through it, I can just glance down at my bubble level right here and tell where that is. So I'm going to tighten it right down. I believe the specs say certain inch pounds, 22 inch pounds for torque. So we will go ahead and do that. I'm just going to tighten these a little bit more. It's one thing that I always like to make sure I do correctly when you're mounting scopes on rifles, and now crossbows in this case, is actually just go to your torque specs so you don't have to worry about hurting anything. So one thing I wanted to show you too is this is the pressure switch. So it just goes into here. You want to make sure there's not much like downward force on it. This is kind of leaned down a little bit. I'm going to try to take a little bit of play off that, but I just looped it through there. It's not going to get in the way of anything moving. And then I put it down here. Now on the other one, I had it on my burris. I had this remote up in here zip tied on the other side so I could hit it with my finger and get the range. This one, the most comfortable spot's right here. So when I'm holding it and looking through the scope, I can keep my trigger finger up out of the way, not on the trigger, and I can just hit that with my thumb, and it'll give me a reading as the animal's coming in. And then when I'm ready to shoot, I'll just have to take this, be easy enough just to make sure that's out of the way. So I think I'll like it there. The good thing is they give you 2 clips. So this just slides right into that clip. You put that clip on there. It's got 3M on the back. So that sticks to your flat surface wherever, and then the pressure switch just slides right in there. So, and then if you have to reroute this cable or do anything or take the cable out, then you can just slide it out of the clip and reroute it through, which is nice. So I like it. I like the setup. Like I said, it should shoot pretty well. So we're going to go out there and fling some arrows through the chrono and see what we got for speed. Now I'm claiming 470 here. That's with just a normal bolt, I think 100 grain. These I'm actually running 150 grain on it. And then I'm going to be shooting these 150 grain Trailblazers by Excalibur. I love this style, but the crossbows, they say not to shoot these out of it because of the speed of them will fold back the blades, but these, as you can see, are designed for today's fastest crossbows, it says. So Jamie, again, at Whitney's, highly suggest these. I'm big into bow hunting, compound bow hunting, so I'm fairly new to the crossbow scene. So any information that he can offer, I absorb, because he sells them and gets feedback all the time, and he's very knowledgeable on anything outdoors, really, as far as purchasing stuff, building arrows, putting stuff together like that, if that's not something you guys do. So I do my own shop, working on my own bows and stuff, so, but the crossbows are foreign to me. So any questions you have, you can ask him and he'll answer them. So like I said, that's Jamie over to Whitney's Hunting Supply in Granville, New York. So you can go ahead and check him out, but we're going to get outside, start flinging some. Alright, so it pretty much never fails. And when you try to do something, the wind's got to be blowing 1,000,000 miles an hour. So let's see what it tells us to do next. Let's press any key to awaken the scope. Alright. So it says use up and down to approximately position the 20-yard aim point. Set the aim point as high in the display as we can so we can get max range. We're just going to start it here. First, let's get on target. Stand 5 large steps from the target. Using the 5-yard aim dot, point and take a shot. I'm pretty confident that we're going to hit the bear. It would suck to miss though, so we're going to go right up there and we're going to shoot one. I shot it. It hit like an inch below where I was aiming, so we would have been fine. It says to measure it, unloosen the lock knob, adjust the mount dials to the distance you measured. 1 inch is 30 clicks. So we were an inch low, so I'm going to loosen the lock knob here, which apparently I already did. And then with a coin, which I don't have with me, I'll have to go in the truck, we're going to adjust those on the side here. So this is loose, and then I'm going to adjust, this is left and right, this is up and down, so I'm going to adjust this 30 clicks. Alright, what's next? Okay, tighten the lock knob until it breaks over when finished. Let's see what they mean by that. I'm sure we'll feel something. Let's give her a shot again. Okay. Continue to primary range setup? Question mark. Sure. Stand approximately 20 yards to set first aim point. Hold the ranging button to range the target. We are at 22. We're just going to use it because I do not feel like moving. Use aim point to shoot target. Okay, so the level in the scope is actually really nice compared to the burris one. And we're going to fling one at the bear now. Hit the bullseye. It did not, but it almost did. So we're about literally maybe a ½ inch high and an inch to the left. So before I hit the wrong button, we're going to go down and hit no. Measure from the distance where you measured and aim. Loosen the lock knob. So we're just going to do, this is just manually setting now. So we'll loosen that. We're going to use our 1980. We're going to move it to the right. We'll see what it says, how many clicks for this range. 1 inch, 9 clicks at 22 yards. So we're going to move it 9 clicks to the right. And then we're going to lock this again. Okay, so that's locked. Big click. I can see it now. There's like little teeth on that lock knob, like a gas cap, so you really roll it over. Alright, got the bolt, we're going to crank it, and I'm actually going to shoot through my chrono this time. Might as well. We're almost perfect. I just got to move it left a little bit. We got 452. You can't see that. So 452 feet per second with a 150 grain field tip. Pretty close. So obviously we're aiming right there. We're hitting right here. So I would say about 3/4 of an inch to the left. And these things are getting absolutely buried. So that might be a problem. We're hitting a tree. The more precise you are on these first steps, the better. Did you hit the bullseye? We're going to go to no. Measure, yeah, loosen, yeah, did that. Stand in the same position, shoot it again. Let's get all this in the pocket. 50 yards in this wind. Oh, look at this. I'm out here shooting a review. And look what's in the food plot. A fawn. See how close we can get. Why not? It sees us. But look at that lush food plot. Deer just can't even resist. They come out during the day. So this is actually a buddy of mine in Western New York, Paul. He owns a company called Whitetail Food Plots USA, and you will see, if you go on my channel, lots of videos that involve his seed. Great stuff. Obviously works. That whole thing's planted. We got a little grass and a little bit of milkweed growing in it, but that was just because we didn't weed it properly. We just said, let's do it this year like this, and then next year we'll really hone in on it. But it's growing great. It's already knee high. It's been 35 days since I planted it, so it's rut time tubers, and then the other half is turnips and radishes. It's going to be great. But back to this. We're going to back up to 50, and we're going to send another bolt. So I'll see you back at 50. We got major wind still, but that's okay. We hit left and right's perfect. We're about 6 inches high. Aiming at the dot. Pretty good left and right. Dot's here. We might be a little less than 6. We might only be 4. So then this next shot might be a little bit, might be a couple inches low. But yeah, we didn't go through into the tree this time, so that's a win. You know what? I like it. That was right on the bullseye. Alright, so I'm definitely going to have to do some adjusting and get used to this. 80 yards is my max range, it says. I don't agree with that. And when the auto shutoff on this thing is fast. And like, look at all that goes on when you're trying to shoot. I don't want that much stuff going on when I'm trying to shoot a deer. Flashing in your face, levels, oh my goodness. It'll give you a freaking seizure. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to turn all that off, because I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. But we'll see. I love the crossbow. Crossbow shoots great. Scope, got a little figuring out to do, so I can't really judge it until I figure out if you can turn all that stuff off. That's the review on the Garmin and the Ravin 470. Beautiful setup, really. Just needs a little bit of tweaking, and it'll be perfect. So I would say all day you can shoot this out to 100, and I'm sure I'll be able to figure it out with the Garmin. I just got to make sure I can shut all that flashy stuff off, because I'm not a fan. But there it is. Nice solid setup. If you like carrying a cinder block around the woods, so that's it right there. Okay, so I just wanted to throw up a quick little end note on here. I just went back, calibrated it for 93, and then I went back to 110 and took a shot at a 100, and this is where the 110 hit. So we're about 2 inches. I mean, for 110 yards, I'm fine with that. That's gonna smoke anything. And the penetration on these things, that thing's scooping. So 110 yards I calibrated it for. I did learn how to go into the menu. So I got into the menus. You can turn all that fancy flashy stuff off, which I like. So I turned off the 4, 3, 2, 1, ready, shoot, whatever. I don't want to be reading stuff when I'm trying to shoot a deer or a bear or whatever I'm shooting. So I turned that off. I'm going to shoot with the steady aim thing on. It's like tells you if you're not level. But there's a level there, and there's also a level at the bottom. I don't like having to look at a couple different things. So I'm probably going to turn that steady aim off. That kind of dances it. If you were aiming at a deer, it would be like, there's like a reticle, and they'd be like, so if you're aiming at that deer in the scope, there's little things that go like this if you move a little bit, and then they steady off and then disappear when you're level. But there's a bubble level at the bottom that goes back and forth too, so it's just too much. 14 yards. Okay. Let's see where we hit. Nope, it's bunny, so perfect. shouldn't have any surprises. I'm gonna end on the review on that. It's starting to rain, but killer setup. Read the instructions. That's where I went wrong. I think I'm gonna have a lot of luck with this. I'd say the only negative to it is battery life so far. I hate to speak too soon, but from the gauge at least on the screen, it's showing half charge. And I've only used it for a couple sessions. Granted, I did use it a lot, but it's not like enough to kill it. So I would recommend it. Just make sure you throw a few extra sets of batteries in your case. You don't need screwdrivers or anything to change it. Just that little lever under there, which is nice. That's going to conclude the video. Like and subscribe for more. I'm going to be reviewing all kinds of stuff. Whatever new gear I get, I'm going to be reviewing it. And to overspend on hunting gear, but don't we all? Oh, look at this thing. So, dead deer. So like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.